Today was the youngest Final Four combined age from our 4 semifinalists that we have seen at a Masters 1000 since 1999, back in Hamburg, which was basically the equivalent of a Masters 1000 back then. And many people out there, I'm sure, are starting to wonder, is this what the new version of tennis is going to be? Is this maybe a new Big Four? Berrettini, who's had some pretty big results this year. Sasha Zverev, who we've all known about for a long time. Tsitsipas, who made a major announcement back at the Australian Open and has followed up several times throughout the year. And of course, Danny Medvedev, the guy that Sasha Zverev said is the best player in the world right now, at least for the last few months. The guy who has made the finals or better at the last 6 tournaments he's played in, including the U.S. Open and a win at the Masters 1000 in Cincinnati. So is this our new Big Four? Is this what tennis is going to look like from now on? Is this something we're going to possibly see at a major next year, maybe as soon as January? It might sound crazy, but it's definitely a question that many tennis fans around the world are surely pondering today. Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we talk about what unfolded today at the semifinals of Shanghai, but what we will probably spend more time talking about are the quarterfinals. Djokovic losing to Tsitsipas, and of course, Roger Federer losing to Sasha Zverev and going nuts on the umpire, who's amazingly named Nacho. That's his name. Real name, not a nickname. So real quick on the new Big Four, and that thumbnail, it's kind of a joke. I don't want to disrespect the actual Big Four, who no one's taken them out at the majors yet. It hasn't happened yet, and I don't think they're done. I'm just kind of saying a what if. It's an interesting thing to think about. And these 4 guys, I mean, one of the things that strikes me watching them play, we were hearing for so many years that the big guys are the future of tennis. And I always thought, well, the big guys don't move like the guys who are 6'1". And sure, they hit bigger, but is it big enough to make up for the loss in movement? You know, if Tomas Berdych can hit harder than Federer or Nadal, is that worth it when you can have much better movement if you're Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal? Well, the thing that I noticed watching these guys, especially Medvedev and Tsitsipas and Zverev, is they have the hitting, the power, the firepower of the biggest hitters in the world, and they're pretty close to the movement of some of the best movers in the world. That's definitely a combination, a recipe that you don't want to face, even if you're Roger, Rafa, or Djokovic. Now, put this on the screen. Medvedev is far and away leading the pack of this new Big Four. And, you know, Berrettini just kind of arrived on the scene, too. You know, he had a good grass court season until Wimbledon. And, of course, he had a great U.S. Open. But who knows if he's really earned that spot. Maybe he falls away and Felix Auger takes that spot. It's safe to say Sasha Zverev, Medvedev, and Tsitsipas are the real deal, are the future. And you see Medvedev here with 44 wins on hard courts this year. It's amazing. Nadal, he's got 22. That's pretty amazing because you see he's only got 2 losses. So hasn't played a lot of tournaments. Same for Federer and Djokovic. And everyone else on this list has played in a lot more tournaments. But don't take anything away from Medvedev. If he played a bunch of tournaments, it doesn't matter. He came up with 44 wins, and of course he's in 6 finals in a row now. The biggest difference for me, and we all know Berrettini is a monster serve and a big forehand and moves pretty well for being a big man too. But let's remove him from the equation for now because I want to focus mostly on Tsitsipas, Zverev, and Medvedev. The biggest difference to me is Tsitsipas and Zverev can do more damage with their first serve than Medvedev. Put them more in the mold of a Roger Federer. I'm not saying that they serve as good as Roger Federer, but they serve bigger than Roger Federer now as he's getting older. And if they can hit spots like a Roger Federer, they can do the damage on first serve better than anyone. You know, John Isner and guys like that, the very biggest servers are the only ones who will be able to rival the numbers they can put up on first serve. Second serve is where they tend to struggle. A big reason why Zverev beat Federer and has done better at this tournament in general is because he's not throwing in 20 double faults or 10 double faults, and he's hitting second serves better. But Tsitsipas and Zverev still, second serve is not what's doing all the damage for them in their game, whereas Medvedev, take a look at this chart, the depth on the second serve is something to point out. And then you throw on top of that, maybe Medvedev's first serve doesn't do as much damage as Zverev and Tsitsipas can, but it's close enough. Plus, He moves like freaking Djokovic and rallies like Djokovic too. Medvedev is a pretty total package. So kind of put Medvedev, even though he's bigger and more powerful, kind of put him in the category of like a Rafa or a Djoker in the way he can just keep points alive, incredible defense, and can hurt you from anywhere on the court. He can serve bigger than those guys, Nadal and Djokovic, and the second serve numbers are some of the best. Of course, the biggest question would be, can these guys execute at the majors? Can these guys do these things? We don't know Zverev. We know Tsitsipas beat Federer at the Australian Open last year and made a semifinal, but Medvedev, again, you got to put him ahead of the rest because what he did at the U.S. Open final, not only making the final of a major, the first of any next-gen player to do it, but seriously challenging Nadal and having a real chance to win it. And you see that in the stats with Medvedev and Tsitsipas. Part of this is Medvedev is riding on so much confidence, and he's just a little bit better in that first set, winning in the tiebreak. And look at the numbers here. You see, now, if you look at, let's look at Tsitsipas Djokovic really quick. Tsitsipas said that he kind of felt like he was serving better than Djokovic in the first set and missed a volley and got broken, and it was kind of a dumb mistake on break point. If he hadn't done that, he felt like he would have really been in that first set. In the second set, you look at the numbers and you see Tsitsipas getting more Djokovic serves back in play in general. Very important, especially on a fast court. We talked about it a lot this week. And also you see Tsitsipas getting way more, despite Djokovic doing better on second serve, and that just shows you these big three, the original big three, so clutch. Even when they're not playing their best, they're going to find ways to win on second serves and stay alive in these sets and keep them going. But far and away on the first serve win percentage, Tsitsipas has a massive advantage. But against Medvedev, take a look at the stats there. Tsitsipas, like I said, more damage on the first serve, 92 win percent, winning 92% versus 82, but a massive gap in the second serve, and the gap not big enough. He had the massive gap on the first serve over Djokovic in the second and third sets, but doesn't have such a big lead against Medvedev. The first serve maybe not as good, doesn't do as much damage for Medvedev, but it doesn't matter. Overall, he's going to get you. And as far as Zverev and Berrettini, I would say Berrettini would have had a shot against Zverev for sure, but Zverev is playing very well, and Berrettini had some kind of issue with his groin. His movement was a little off, so that hurt Berrettini's chances there. No fault him. Still a good result for the young Matteo Berrettini. Let's talk about the Federer and Djokovic losses a little bit, then we'll get out of here. Tomorrow, I guess I should make a prediction really quick. It's hard to pick against Medvedev. I think Sasha Zverev is playing the best he has all year long, and I give him a shot, and I think we might have a good three-set match that Medvedev finds a way to win because he is just playing with so much confidence. He's going to have the belief that no matter what situation he finds himself in, he's going to find a way to win, and I think he's going to do a lot better on second serve than Zverev, and we might, I hope we don't, I hurt for Sasha Zverev, but we might see Sasha Zverev start hitting some double faults again, although he's been very good. I was nervous. I wish I'd made a show before the Federer-Zverev match because I was nervous going into that match thinking that, Sasha Zverev not double faulting much in this tournament and hitting like 20 aces per match. Now, I said in the beginning of the show, do you think it's the end and stuff? Obviously, I think Djokovic and Federer can play better than what we saw. Clearly, Federer and Djokovic both not having the best day of their careers at all. And when we get to the Australian Open, these guys are better than anyone else at preparing for the majors. I don't think we will see a new champion at the Australian Open, but Sasha Zverev said we're going to get a new champion next year, 2021. I agree with that. My opinion, and I've had this for most of this year, is that 2020 will be the last year for the GOAT generation. Roger, Rafa, Djoker dominating, winning the majority of the majors. I think they'll win all four again next year. But after seeing the way things have unfolded at Shanghai, it's a little hard to stick with that prediction. And I got to wonder if there is a good chance that somebody breaks through next year. Maybe it'll happen. But what happened today, obviously Djokovic not at his best, and he's really coming off off injury still. I know he won in Tokyo, but it wasn't really any serious competition there. Roger's match, this Naomi Cavade commentating, former WTA player, retired, commentating on tennis TV, I thought she put it really well with this trifecta of things Sasha Zverev was doing to hurt Roger Federer. Because a couple things I noticed. Federer not hitting his spots. Zverev's serve so much bigger than Federer pace-wise that even if he's close to the spots, if I have it, put it on the screen, we always see these graphics with Roger Federer. You see that outer portion of the service boxes. When he hits those outer portions, Roger Federer is like unbeatable. And in this match against Sasha Zverev, Roger Federer was not. He was close, but he was missing it by a little. And with less pace on his serve and so much reach, Sasha Zverev is tall and long, so much reach, a lot of great returns were coming back. That's how a lot of people were wondering, how in the world did Roger Federer have a 60-something% win on first serve percentage against Sasha Zverev? Put the stats on the screen for pretty much most of the entire match. And the biggest thing is Roger not hitting his spots as crisply as usual, and Sasha Zverev just taking care of serve so well, constant pressure on Roger, not feeling like he can break, feeling he has to hold. And then this, take a listen to what Naomi Cavaday had to say. I think she nailed it.
What we've seen so far in this match is Zverev rush that shot. We've seen plenty of late contacts. We've also seen Federer knocked off the baseline, which he doesn't like either, and be on the back foot. So triple whammy. Zverev is coming at him from all angles, really. So
Roger not getting the contact out as far in front and hitting as cleanly as he would like. Roger getting pushed off the baseline where he makes everything happen. And on third thing, hitting on the back foot, just another way to not get as much on your ball. Roger not really able to use all of his weapons to the extent that he's used to. And the biggest part is look at where Sasha Zverev, got to credit Zverev. He played great, and he really stuck to this game plan. You know, I was thinking about how if Federer had to play team here, I would pick Federer all day because it's a faster court, and team can't stick to the game plan of taking the ball earlier for like the whole match against a Roger. You know, maybe on a slower court, he'll do it enough and he'll play good enough defense to win, like we saw at Indian Wells. But last year at the World Tour Finals, he had no chance. You know, Federer, after not playing his best there, able to handle Dominic Thiem, no problem. Take a look at this chart. Sasha Zverev stepped way in and had no problems. No problem sticking with this game plan, taking the ball early. The second set, vintage Federer stuff, saving the 3 match points in a row. I mean, it was incredible. Some of the volleys Federer came up with. It was like you were watching Roger Federer back, 10, 13 years ago playing Andy Roddick, just blocking these massive serves back in deep, jumping up in the air, smacking forehands all over the court, moving beautifully. Roger, you can say a lot of things about Federer not playing his best, but you can't say his movement's slowing down, which is why I give him a shot to win a major still next year, whether it's the Wimbledon or the Australian Open. And then you see these incredible volleys. So we saw enough from Roger Federer to not count him out. But a big thing was how angry he got with the umpire. So final thing we'll talk about, then we'll get out of here. Just take a listen. Roger Federer, after getting his serve broken to start the third set, or the second game of the third set, he smacks a ball into the net and gets a warning, and you'll hear it when I play the clip. And then he goes over to the umpire and kind of yells at him, saying, hey, you were supposed to warn me about the ball change, and now Zverev has to wait before he could serve while I change rackets, and thousands here have to wait.
Well, if Federer's going to win this match, he's going to have to come from a breakdown again. And after all that drama and hard work from the former world number 1, he's broken early in set 3. And a reminder, whoever has won the first set has gone on and won the match in their 6 previous meetings. You can see how annoyed Federer is. That's about as frustrated as you'll ever see him. He actually got a code violation for ball abuse.
Otherwise he's waiting, thousands are waiting.
Federer.
You don't think a bit? I told you before.
I've got other issues, man.
Like I'm missing shots. Sorry for that.
Well, he's not happy because he was here.
Help me out.
And then, of course, the thing probably everyone heard, I'll put it on the screen through the Twitter in case you didn't see it, but then Federer, he hits a ball barely into the crowd. I'm not even sure. They cut away before you could see if it actually went into the crowd or just bounced very close to going into the crowd. But Federer just kind of pops a ball up, and he was going after Nacho.
That first set and a half, really, he was under so much pressure. We were talking consistently about how he was hitting the ball late.
On that point penalty, Mr. Federer.
So Federer, who had a ball abuse code violation back end of the first set.
But you didn't want to hit it just there, Roger.
Was it anger?
It was in, yeah, maybe not, it's not fully, with fully power.
Clearly not fully.
Of course. But it's in.
So what's the reason, the rule?
Yeah, you're just hitting a ball out.
Where?
Out of the court.
Right, that's out of the court for you.
Well, that's somewhere we might lose.
Like this.
We might lose. the ball there.
But it's impossible to get that one back?
We could.
So you
But it's the action itself. It's the action itself. Before you hit a ball there and almost and broke the zip. Now this is the second time.
Tell me that was too much for you? Why don't you communicate with me here at 3 Love? You tell me, buddy, that was too hard.
We
so
were
the next time around, I know I'm at the edge.
We were discussing some other things.
So we have no time. Huh?
Forzatade or something like that. His last name is, I can't remember. The umpire, Nacho, he's a new guy. You probably haven't seen him around much. Roger's going after him on 3 changeovers in a row, just digging into him. This reminds me of 2009 when Roger's losing at the U.S. Open to Del Potro. This is the only time I can think of where Federer went this hard on the umpire on so many changeovers back to back to back. And listen to this final time he was doing it after the point penalty. Of course, he still won the game, and Federer said himself after the match was over that didn't affect me. Zverev beat me today. All credit to Zverev should be given. But take a listen to Roger Federer digging into the umpire, saying, you should have given me more warning, and did that really, it hit my frame. He was basically saying, I was kind of popping the ball to the ball kid, and it hit my frame, and that kind of threw it. And you'll hear Federer saying to Nacho, how did it hit my racket? How did it hit my racket? You saw it, and Nacho even agrees with him. But in the end, Nacho was right when he says, look, you did hit that ball in an angry way. Even though it was very softly, you were hitting it out of frustration. I see what Nacho was doing, but man, kind of too much of a stickler. I think he got to give a little leniency to Roger here for the softest ever struck ball out of the stadium. Not even out of the stadium, out of the court into maybe the first row of seats. Like I said, we couldn't even see it on camera for sure.
What are we talking about? Butterflies? What are we talking about? The ball.
Roger,
Okay, there's one thing right now in this room that's bothering both of us.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So what's the
If
rule?
I think it's too much,
That was too much for you.
Well,
This was too much. I'm asking you the question.
It was going to be too much. You first did that, then you hit the ball there.
Did you see it how it went? You see how the ball left?
I saw.
How did
you
it go?
frame it.
Explain me how it goes. Carry me through the process. What happened?
You are hitting it, but you are hitting it in a way that with the frame. I agree with you. You hit it with the frame.
And that's enough for you to say that I'm going to punish me one more time.
All right, hit the music. We're going to get out of here. Comment below what you think. I wish we had more time. I could get way more into this stuff, but we will be back Monday to talk more about all the stuff that happened in Shanghai. I have to play a singles match. I played a doubles match this morning that we lost in a third set tiebreaker. How heartbreaking. It was like a freaking almost a 3-hour match because they took after they won the second set, those guys took like a 10-minute bathroom break together. Kind of weird. Anyways, all credit to those guys. I got to go play a singles match. We will be back on Monday. Maybe a Patron Saint podcast tomorrow, but I got to play 2 singles matches. Tomorrow, TennisCon 3 is coming up. I got to get a lot of stuff down, including playing like almost all of my league matches, so I don't have to forfeit any when I get back from Texas. Last thing I'll say, take a listen. Roger Federer goes on offense when he's trying to break when Zverev serves for the match in the third set. And the crowd support in China, credit to them because they were incredible. The most pro-Fed crowd in the world, maybe. Take a listen to the crowd chanting in when Roger challenges after going on major offense with his forehand in the first point in the final game.
Well, is he going to do it again? Federer. Zverev is challenging here. This is his last challenge. We can't have more drama, could we? You can just hear in from the crowd. They willed it in. It was in.